Hey everybody, I just wanted to reach out to you and tell you thank you. Thank you for reaching out to me during this time when my mother recently passed. It means a lot to me. I wasn't going to say anything about it on the air, but I'm always talking about family, and I'm always talking about this hound hunting community being closer together in a family. And I really appreciate the hundreds of you that reached out to me either through social media, messengers, text messages, emails. It meant a lot. My mom was a great woman, and she dedicated her whole life to being a wife and a mother, a Christian woman, taking us to church, vacation Bible school, volunteering at all kinds of stuff. I mean, that was her whole life, was being a mom to us. And it doesn't go unnoticed by me, I can tell you that. I'm gonna miss her a lot. She raised 6 kids. 5 of them turned out pretty good. Only one of them became a houndsman and started pursuing coon dogs. And I've got a ton of stories about, she actually supported me pretty much. She supported everything I did. But she supported me hound hunting. She often said that she didn't have to worry about where I was on a Friday or Saturday night. She knew that I was going to be out coon hunting with my hounds and with my buddies. I probably wouldn't always pure as a driven snow while I was out doing that stuff, but we'll share some stories someday about my mom and catching me sneaking out of the house one night and to go coon hunting and just a lot of different stuff. So it was a great honor to have all of you reaching out to me. I sat back on this podcast, and it's a real tribute to our team when we have a event like this happen, and I can send out a message and they can pick up the ball and run with it. They don't need me. It's awesome. I'm not sure exactly what they talk about. I kind of got some highlights. I haven't listened to the whole podcast, but I did want to put a message up front here telling all of you that I really appreciate every one of you. So let's get the tailgate down. It's time to dump the box.
This meeting is being recorded.
I got two
hello.
warnings. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a Houndsman XP Point Blank. It's the team all gathered up. It's me, Seth. I got Chad in the house. And apparently he's quiet. I got Bryce in the house.
Yeah.
and I got Game Catcher 2.0.
That's right. Let me tell you about Bryce. The only thing you're going to hear out of him is babbling. Just like
right?
dogs.
No.
They just babble, 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 babble.
No, sir. Honest strike dog right here. Honest strike dog.
I just run away. So anyway, we're covering for Chris. He was unable to make it for this week's show. He's got some personal business going on that he needs to attend to. So we're here to get his back. Houndsman XP. We're a loyal pack. So we're here and we got a lot to cover. I kind of want to just jump right into it, you guys. Did you see that post I put on the Houndsman XP group about that meth head training attack deer to attack hunters?
Yeah. I think I saw about 20 people share that.
I can talk to you about what meth does, and Chad can talk to you about how you train what meth does.
Yeah.
I'm from rural New Mexico. I've seen my fair share, and I'm pretty sure you can just, well, for instance, a good friend of mine, a guy I knew, he wasn't a good friend of mine, but his dad was a crazy tweaker, and he was obsessed with home and garden television. And we'd be hanging out playing video games at this guy's trailer, and his dad would come in, and he would just be like, "Man, I saw this thing on Home Wreckers. I'm going to totally go in there and knock down this wall and install like a see-through bathroom window floor so you can like see the ground while you're in the bathroom." He took a Sawzall and just like cut a hole through the floor. And then what happened was coons like came up through the floor into this guy's house, and his dogs would duke it out. So anyway, They're crazy, man. So I feel like those deer, you could get them focused to do anything, but that's not my realm. That's Chad's realm. You know what I'm saying?
No, hold on now. I haven't actually trained any animals with meth at all.
Are you ready to take it to the next level, Chad?
Of course. That sounds like a plan.
Yes.
Well, first off, I've been curious. I haven't, I've trained for narc detection before, but Heath, have you ever witnessed a dog getting a hold of meth before? Like
no.
an aggressive alert or something?
No, and we carry stuff with us to basically like Narcan. So yeah, we are very particular about making sure when we go into an area that it's clear so the dogs can't get into it, but there's always that chance. We get into more rat poison than anything, to be honest.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. When you go in warehouses and stuff, I mean, your handlers have to go in and do a walkthrough. And even when they do, sometimes they miss that stuff because it was stuck under a pallet or somewhere that was just out of sight and they didn't see it. The dog, in fact, we had a little, not a Roddy, but pit bull named Layla. And we were in clearing out a warehouse, and she got underneath a desk and come out with that green stuff all over her mouth. And of course, we run her out. I start pumping peroxide in her, and I mean, I'm dumping it. She's gagging. She's, throwing up chunks of it. We get her to the vet. The vet was like, "Yeah, you handled it perfectly." I think they give her some B12 or something, and boom, it was over. It was done. But we were on top of it. So meth, rat poison, yes.
So peroxide.
Yeah.
Peroxide's the ticket?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes them throw up.
It's like Epicac. What I found that works best too for it is a turkey baster. So you can get it down their throat and squeeze the little
That's a good idea.
plunger thing at the end.
I've always mixed it with beef broth, and then they'll just wolf it down. But the turkey baster is a little easier and faster. I've had dogs get into fly bait, like fly poison, and that stuff's very toxic to dogs. And so I had to give. Shut up, Strider. I had to give peroxide to one of my dogs, and she threw up 2 of the plastic baggies full of the fly poison.
Yeah,
I didn't realize she ate that much, so I was glad. So turkey baster. Pro tip.
Wait. Well, we got to get back on the mat.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Chad, I've got to hear this because I was thinking about this coming home because I knew we were going to talk about this.
All right.
All right. So I know what that does to people. There's no training that. The only thing that they're doing is teaching that animal that it has no sense, and it's probably going to attack everything. The house, the cars, the people, whatever's outside, whatever's in its way.
I've thought about this too, and I've actually come up with a recipe to train this now that I'd never thought about it before, but it came up like, hey, how would you do it? I was like, all right. So I've been kind of scratching my head and daydreaming about it while working today. And I'm confident there's a way to do this. Do we really want to break it
daydreaming
down?
about meth?
Do we want to educate the meth heads across the globe on how to teach a deer to attack people?
Yeah, I want to hear this. Yeah, I want to hear this. I got
first on Houndsman XP.
Only here.
This is all hypothetical. All right. And I would never, disclaimer time, I would never suggest doing this. 1, drugs are bad in K. And 2, never give drugs to any animals, wild or domestic. That's horrible. But if somebody had a metaphorical gun to my head and said, train this deer to attack people using meth as a lure or a fulcrum, I would, 1, get said deer addicted to meth, While doing that, you could teach it that it gets some kind of reinforcement, food or otherwise, off of pawing. Teach it to stomp a place board, step a place board, it gets reinforcement, water, food, whatever, and then after you got that going, then I would start weaning in the meth, so it gets a little piece of food, maybe some sour apples or something like that with a little bit of meth sprinkled on top, and just so stomp.
I was going to ask
board.
if you're using the turkey baster or not.
No turkey baster. We're just using a place board here. It could just be like a leather square, 1 foot by 1 foot. Make it a bright color, like red or something. Just easily recognizable. And then you could take that placeboard off the ground and hang it on the wall and get it to paw at it for reinforcement, and only do like 10 reinforcements a day. Then after that, transfer that placeboard to the chest, of a mannequin or a person in a bite suit, and then just pour it on. And at that point, once he's thoroughly addicted to meth, then withhold the meth. Supply and demand, control the diamonds and slowly trickle in the diamonds. And then start to resist, hold the leg back. And then once he struggles to overcome and whack you with his foot, then give him a jackpot of meth and candy apples. And then eventually he's going to see that little placeboard and he's going to attack it. He's going to go crazy, just like the deer do, the little crackhead videos you see of the deer doing it to the guys that put the doe urine on themselves, He
won't have hooves. He'll be pawing so much.
How long do you expect this process to take?
It would all depend on how long it took a deer to get addicted to meth. I believe.
Well, that's the next thing is how long can a deer live if it does meth? Like the lifespan of that deer may not last long enough to train it.
No. But that's the way though. You get a 6-pack of deer, because you might lose some. You might lose some in the works. Now fine. That's too much. However you measure meth, but like I don't know. What do we do? Meth rocks
one
or something?
shard too many.
Yeah, exactly. Break it down, find out what gets his rocks off, and then there you go. So supply and demand, increase demand.
Call that training method. We'd call that training method breaking buck.
There you go.
What I'm saying, yeah, dude. Mm-hmm.
What is it? Eisenhorn or has it? What's the guy's name?
Oh yeah.
What was it? Dang it.
Heisenberg.
Dude,
that'd be Heisenbuck. Yeah, dude. Heisenbuck.
There you go.
Yeah. The problem
and
is
this happened in Arkansas. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, supposedly there was some.
I thought it was like fake.
Yeah.
I thought somebody said they said
like
somebody made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a guy on there who was like, "Hey, I fact checked it. It's false." We were like, "Yeah,
shut up." Meth,
Yeah,
you're real, okay?
There was like 30 people on my news feed that shared it. I mean, that's all I looked at all day, every time I got on social media.
Dude, I got sent that a bunch. And I'll tell you right now, there was a lot of comments. There's a lot of great engagement on the page or the group from that. My favorite comment was from a guy named Jeff Kaufman. And his comment was, who has spare meth to give to deer anyway?
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, some fiend is like, I'm feeling generous today. I'm going to give all my tweak to deer. Like, no, they're like, gimme. Like,
they're not giving it out.
Oh man, thank you, Chad. That was my cheeks hurt. That was amazing. And next up at Reynolds Ranch, we'll see you there, buddy.
Yep.
So, oh my gosh, hey Heath, did you get a turkey?
No, man. I'm telling you, I think Chris with that horrible screeching, unrecognizable owl call that he thinks that he is doing, it scared him off across the country. I have not heard in two of my favorite places. I have not heard but one turkey gobble one time, and it was so far away that I couldn't pinpoint it. I went into that area, I hunted it 3 more days, nada. So I have decided that I'd start fishing. And I have been putting a smackdown on some muskies.
I've got a question going back to the turkey thing.
Yeah.
Do you think that running hounds in the same woods disturbs the turkeys like people claim that it disturbs the deer? Because I got kicked out of the woods because it's turkey season, and I was just appalled. I was like, I've never heard of this. And the old man's like, buddy, it's turkey season. I don't need your dogs messing up my turkeys.
Right. And again, we know as houndsmen, I mean, I can't tell you the times that I went in and shine a tree when I coon hunted, and turkeys would be roosted 50 yards away.
Where you walk up on one and they scare the daylights out of you when they take off?
Yeah. But we've got some hunt clubs down east that they don't want us in there right now because of the turkey season. Now, as soon as it's over, have at it. So it is what it is.
So it's across the board. It's not just here in Indiana.
Yeah. They ain't hurting me because Chris scared them all away with that horrible noise he was making. That's like the screech that was heard around the world.
Yeah. When he made that sound on when we recorded that podcast, he went to do his barred owl call and it glitched out and I didn't hear it at all. So I was like, Heath wins.
It's because it was so bad the computer wouldn't even record it.
Yes. I've been seeing lots of people posting their spring turkey action here, but I've never turkey hunted. I need to do it. A buddy of mine at work just asked me if I had went, and I was like, nah. But I did think of you, and I was gonna try the dog whistle.
I haven't went either, buddy.
My wife is gonna give her hand at turkeys this season, and my parents are big into turkeys, so they kind of, we're all about it with me growing up, down there in Florida, the Osceolas and everything. So I got to mess around with those a little bit, but then I just got so much into the dogs. When I went from hounds to terriers and back again, but out running bear, every time I see one, I drop a pin, on Onyx, and that's just the way I've been doing things. Like just whenever I see one, I drop it. Now we'll see if that actually helps, because she's on my Onyx account. I'm just everywhere you see the little green turkey symbol. I've seen them before on the date that was there, and
it's funny. It's funny you say that, Chad, because during December, when we're out, we do a lot of walking. We're in, we cover a lot of ground, and I'm like you, when I see a group of turkeys or some turkeys, in fact, I think we seen 4 big gobblers in one area that we hunt in late December. Same thing, drop a pin on Onyx, and I know the area anyway, but I'll go back in the spring, do a little scouting before, and usually it's money from me. And it has not been that way this year. The turkeys have been really quiet, but I've got some friends, man, they tagged out the first week. I mean, I'm like, I ain't even hearing a turkey. So, but Onyx, I mean, I use it for everything. I mean, everything.
Oh yeah.
I use it daily. That is such an awesome program, man. One time I got confronted. I was out hunting with my dogs and our I guess rancher came up to me and was like, "You're on private property." And all I could think of was their slogan. Cause I was like, nope, I know exactly where I'm at right now. And I was like, really? Cause I brought up my phone. And I was like, cause the yellow's BLM and we're right in the middle of it. And he was like, you know what I mean? I'm paraphrasing heavily here, but yeah, it saved my skin one time for sure. And it's helped me access places that I never thought would be possible. And I think that's the best application for that app. I love Onyx, man. I use it for work and I use it for play. So it's a awesome program.
My favorite is I'm sorry, go ahead, Heath.
No, I was just gonna say I probably use it more at work. We use a lot of it in our tracking training. Same thing. We've got into places that you want to know who the owner is, so you can go make contact with them. Oh, yeah. Pull it up on Onyx. Boom, I do that. In fact, I had a person locked in a house about a month ago, and we didn't know if she was injured, passed out, or deceased. We didn't know. I didn't want to kick the door down because I wasn't 100% sure. So I pulled up Onyx, found the owner, called them. They said, no, I lease it to a leasing company. Here's the number. Call them. I mean, 10 minutes later, I had a maintenance guy there with a key to the door. All because I looked it up on Onyx.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Damn.
One of my favorite parts is the date time groups that you can just do really quick. I mean, I've done it while driving. Well, hold on now. I've not touched my phone while driving. That is wrong. But as a passenger, I have passed the turkey going quickly, and or jackrabbits mainly is when I do it. But the
now
time
I'm
of
listening.
year, because the snow gets thick, out by me, and it'll get so thick that the jackrabbits kind of stay away from it, and it consolidates them into certain areas. So I'll drop a pin. And it'll say the time of day and the time of year, and I'll just make a quick note about snowfall. And I got everything I need to know. Like, it's because Heath, back to what you're saying about the turkeys. I sent my wife has all the things, and I was like, hey, these 3 here are the really good ones where I see the most of them. and she can't get out there right now. So I wonder if the weather messing you up? Is it uncommon weather by you? Because we still have like 5 feet of snow where last year I had been out there for like almost 2 months, and our horse got bottomed out. We got stuck. We had to drag him out with the side by side. You know? Oh yeah, it was bad.
Which was it? Big Red, Chad?
Yeah, the tall one.
Big Red. No.
Yeah.
You know what the old timers say? When it gets up to the belly of a horse, it's pretty deep.
Yeah, it had crusted up so much. He felt, like he got on it and got in a little bit and then fell through. And it was like, imagine if you had like a little Yag Terrier or something like that and put its legs through like a hammock, and it was just, its feet would move, but its body would stay. That horse was freaking out, but it was like suspended by its gut. It was high centered, literally. He couldn't do anywhere. My wife had a picture of it because he bottomed out and her knees went up. It was like she squatted down, so her feet went up. His belly, the snow was halfway up his belly, So,
but yeah, talking about the weather, Chad. It last week, last week it was up in the 80s. The highs this week have been the high 50s. Nighttime, when I got up Monday and Tuesday and went fishing, we had frost on. It was 30 degrees both mornings. So I think that cold snap is changing them a little bit. And everybody that I've talked to, most of the guys that I'm around, they're killing them late in the day. It's 9, 10, after 10 o'clock, most of them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
So Heath, do you ever use the Onyx whenever you're fishing? Like, do you ever mark any spots on the river there while you're fishing?
Every time I raise a muskie. So let me explain that to the listeners. So muskies they're the apex predator of our rivers. Okay. Like they're the
fish of 1,000 casts, right?
10,000.
10,000. Oh, I shortcut that one.
2 Monday, missed another one, caught one Tuesday. My buddy caught one Tuesday, and then I raised 2 more. So what happens is they'll follow your bait into the boat. They'll come right up and follow it in, and you start doing your figure 8. And if they're active, you can get them in the 8. If not, then a lot of times they'll just kind of sink back underneath your boat and hide out there for a little bit. So that's called raising a fish. But yes, every time I raise a fish, I mark it on there so I can go back and fish that area again. So I've got a lot of stuff on my Onyx. I wonder how much memory this thing's got because it's that full.
Yeah, my New Mexico just looks like an endless supply of waypoints.
Can y'all see the blue dots?
Yeah.
That's all the muskies.
Oh, dang!
On there too.
Yeah, we're all showing our phones here with our waypoints.
On there, Chad.
Oh, gosh, Chad.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, ain't nothing. And then we go out into the other states and everything. Yeah, I got tons of. Now, what's funny is you'll see. I'll have buddies that'll post this little screenshot, and I'll see the little icon, and I know it's where my stuff. And I was like, "You rascal! You dropped it on my spot. I saw it. So yeah, I wish there was. That's the only thing. I want there to be a silent mode. I like, hey, bud, before you get out of the truck. Let me see your phone. I want Onyx on silent mode. Put it up. Oh, there you go.
Thanks, Seth. You're in it too.
That's all of southern New Mexico. That's about 50 trillion zillion acres, man.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
nice.
I live on Onyx, man. It's been absolutely critical. Here's some of my favorite deer spots. See if it'll fix that. Yeah.
I think would be cool. Is if there was a way to sync your Garmin handheld with the Onyx app.
Oh, I'm sure it's coming.
I'm always marking den trees on my Garmin because I don't bring my phone out very often, so I can tell when a dog's hitting up. They're in a den tree.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a coon hotel. But if you could drop the pin on your Garmin and then it imported it to your phone, that would be cool.
That'd be sweet.
I do like a hybridized version of that. You can get the GPS coordinates off of your Garmin, when the dogs are running, just click on them and then look at the GPS coordinates and then go to your Onyx under the search window and then type them in and it'll drop a pin there and you just hit save. And I've done that on my Onyx before with Garmin GPS points where it'll drop a pin, so I can kind of see how they go down through the canyon bottom or something, but it's not quick, like what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, because pro tip, we'll see how many competition guys are going to listen to this podcast. If you mark your den trees on your Garmin and you get the pleasure of being the guide, you can see where your dog's at, and that'll help you tell them if you need to tree him or not in a last minute situation.
Mm-hmm.
Neat.
You already know what's there. You've already put it in there.
The first coon tree I ever went to was a den tree, and I didn't know that was even a thing. So the dogs were going insane, and I was like, all right, I'm going to see two looking down. Here we go. And I'm like crawling through the bosque, the forest, and we get up to this huge cottonwood, and I like have my light straight up in the air, and I'm just looking, and there's just a huge hole in the cottonwood. And I was like, oh, man.
Wait a second. What kind of dogs are you hunting?
I was hunting walkers and blue ticks. They weren't mine. They were two different guys. And one guy had a set of walkers, and the other guy had a set of like blue tick walker crosses. Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds like some bad news kennel stuff, Heath.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Bad news.
Bad news kills.
Oh, precious.
I wanted to make this mention earlier, but you heard it here on Houndsman XP. Chad Reynolds, straight as an arrow, doesn't text and drive, but trains methed out attack deer.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. So, hey, Houndsman XP, I'm going to break out some good news for everyone. You guys, Houndsman XP is partnering with OnX. So that was all. When I heard this, I was very excited because I've been a faithful OnX user for many, many years. And Houndsman XP, we're about, preserve, protect, promote. And when we're bringing houndsmen to the attention of these mega influential hunting organizations like OnX, that's awesome. So I'm really proud of that partnership. And it's something that there's a lot of good news coming down the pipeline, you guys. There's going to be some affiliate codes and stuff. I'm going to let Chris break that down more. But we are partnering with OnX, you guys. So if you're not using OnX, stay tuned for that affiliate code. You can get your subscription for less. And if you're not using OnX, where are you? Who are you? What?
The Houndsman XP Podcast Network is powered by Cajun Lights. All of your lighting needs for hunting can be taken care of at Cajun Lights. They have 3 models of cap lights. I'm going to run through them real quick. You've got the Rougarou, which is their high-end light. If you're a competition hunter and you got to find that coon up in a tree and it's all riding on finding that coon, you'll want the Rougarou on your head. Next is the Bayou. That's a pretty standard light, but it's got packed with features. It's got multiple colors. It's got walking lights. It's got the red, the green, the amber. It's all built in right into that light. And then you have one of my personal favorites, the Micro Gator. The Micro Gator is an ultra lightweight cap light. It's got all the features of a white light, red, green, and amber. I've used this light for everything from finding bear tracks early in the morning to coon hunting at night to working on plumbing in the house, changing tires on the side of the road. My truck doesn't leave the driveway without a Cajun light in it, and that light is the Micro Gator. Every Cajun light is durable, made from the highest quality components, and it is backed by Cajun's top-rated customer service. Check out Cajun Lights. You can go to our website at houndsmanxp.com. Go to our sponsors page, hit that link, it'll take you right to Cajun Lights. Check them out. They got a lot of stuff to offer over at Cajun Lights.
I did want to ask you, Bryce, you live in the East and you're not a turkey hunter. I do find that kind of strange, bud.
Yeah, I lied and I said I'd never been. I've been one time. I just went with a couple buddies to see what it was about. We didn't have any success, didn't call anything in. It was probably the bad owl hooting. If that's what we're going to blame stuff on, I'm going to go with the 2.
Here's all 2 years ago.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm to the point where if it doesn't involve a dog, I'm just not very into it. So
yeah,
I don't see many people running turkey dogs. So it's just not something that I focus a lot of time and energy on because it's hard to hunt all night. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go, Chad. That's something else for you to train. A turkey dog.
It wouldn't be too hard. There's actually talk about certain setters being part of it. You know, they'd run certain types of dogs out, flush them, you know, and then they'd go up and then they'd recall the dogs back. And in order to keep the turkeys from seeing the dogs, they'd load them up into, this is old school, load them up into a burlap sack with them, you know, and just sit there under the tree and try and call them back in. But there was types of dogs that were used for that back in the day. And just as a joke, though, I swore up and down that if my wife shoots one, leave it where it is. I'm going to go get haggis and we're going to retrieve that sucker. Even if it's 25 feet, I don't care. We got to get a dog involved somehow.
That would be cool.
Yeah. It's just hard for me to hunt all night and then get up at the crack of dawn and go chase a turkey. It just, like he said in one of his podcasts, you know, he used to be big into deer hunting and it's hard to comp hunt all night and then go deer hunt in the morning. You just got to pick one. And for me, it's
that's
the
why,
dogs.
Bryce. That's why we day hunt now.
That's true.
You young
That's a good
bucks can
point.
do the nighttime stuff.
No, I can't.
I can't either. And you're right. You can't hunt all night and do the early morning stuff. I mean, you can, but physically it's going to catch you. And
Absolutely. You can only drink so many Monster Energies and coffees to get you going before you just crash.
With the aid of a meth deer, you might be able to.
Hey, wait. There's a correlation here. Bryce drinking 5 Monsters reaches for his heart the same way that a meth head is after he takes a hit of meth. So Monster and meth. That's the podcast, Seth. Monster and meth.
Monster and meth. I feel like don't wear a red square on your chest when you're around Bryce after a night of coon hunting. He's gonna boom paw you.
That's
down.
what I was gonna say.
Deal.
Bryce, touch the pad, touch the pad, and you get another Red Bull. Touch the pad, and you get another Red Bull.
Yeah. Oh, that is great. You know, Chad, that's so funny you said that. I use a video from what's his name? Oh Lord, I just literally watched it today.
What was he in?
Oh crap. It's a TV, it's a sitcom. Penny, and what is his name? Not Sheldon. Yeah, Sheldon. And
The Big Bang Theory.
The Big Bang Theory, yes, and they have that where they do operant conditioning. You want a chocolate?
Ever chocolate?
We'll
Good.
do it Bryce with yeah, that's right. We'll do it Bryce with a Red Bull.
And a spray bottle? No. Psst. No.
Yep.
I've been thinking about this a lot, and Chad, I'm just gonna say it. I was wondering when is the time to say it, but I went hunting with Chad's terriers, and I cannot stop thinking about it. Chad, man, I don't know, dude. I may get a set of Yags, bro. That was fun.
Do it. I am not the voice of reason here. Do it. Do it.
I
now. Help me out.
I have
Heath.
so
Bryce.
much land to do it on. So much, dude. And
There you go.
it would be fun, man. It would be fun. I first have to convince my wife that it would be cool to own 2 little demons, because we've gotten so used to owning this right here. This is what my dogs do 99% of their life. That's all they do. They just sleep. This is like peak time to be outside exercising. And he's like right under this air conditioner unit. And this thing sleeps like 22 hours a day. And so it's crazy to go from 6 of those to 2 like tornadoes that are just insanity 24/7. And, but I really want to get into it's fun. And what I love is that you can kind of hunt with those little guys anywhere, you know, and I have so much, the Rio Grande is only like 15 minutes away from me. And there's just miles and miles of canals on public land that you can just hunt down in those cattails like me and Lauren did.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really fun with the terriers, man. They just go through the brush as like little tornadoes, and then you just hear like a booger bark, and then just chaos erupt when they hit, you know. It's really fun.
Okay, what I think has been cool recently is I've been following a couple guys on social media who are using them for nuisance control. They've got a coon or something in an attic, and they just send their yogs in and come back out. Like they stand on a ladder and get paid. I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah, I got a few buddies that do that myself. Like Tyler Sladen does it. And Andrew
I was thinking him.
Stadnick does it. Some of
Tyler's
those
the one I
dogs
was
I've had my
thinking of.
hand on a few times too.
Yeah, Tyler's one I was thinking of. I love watching his social media posts, like just everything he does. I feel like he's like the Heineken man, the world's most interesting man. Like he's always in everything.
He's probably listening. You can't blow his head up too tall. Your dogs are horrible, Tyler.
Your dogs are horrible.
They're buck teeth. Their eyes.
They couldn't bay a T-Rex if they tried.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, y'all saw that? What do y'all think of that, huh?
Yes, that was fantastic.
One of them
It was funny.
What was that, Heath?
I said it was funny. My dogs would have probably tucked tail and run, something like it come out after.
If they're familiar with the bay pen, it's kind of easy. They're wanting to just chew up whatever's coming out of that door anyway. And, you know, like something weird comes out. I think you can come out of there with a ski mask and they'd bay you for a little while until they decided they wanted the pig instead.
They were like, that thing's way uglier than a pig. I don't want to get near it.
Yeah, I've got a question here, and I'm going to go down a rabbit hole just for a second because I've thought about this. So, is there a breed standard for a size, like on the Yog Terrier? Like,
oh yeah,
get them
that's
too big?
a loaded question right there. Oh yeah, there sure is. They're not fully recognized by AKC last I checked, but they're FCI, so there's a standard there. You know, there's a American club, you know, that has, you know, their standards and they follow FCI. But you know, to be breed worthy, it should be here, but you can compete if your dogs are a little bit bigger. I've had in standard size and out of standard size, but mostly it's like, oh gosh, you're gonna put me on the blocks here, but I know this may be off by a pound or two, but pretty much I think the females can be as low as like 13 pounds and the males can be up to like 25, 26, you know, so it's a pretty broad stroke there to begin with.
Yeah, because the reason I asked, there's several guys up here that running coyotes is a big thing in the winter. It's so flat and so open, like they just use their running dogs to go run coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of times they'll get them bait up and those dogs don't want anything to do with them. And you can't really go in there and dispatch the coyote in some of the places. So I was like, man, it would be cool to send like 2 Yogs in there as catch dogs. But I don't know like how well they would fare against a coyote. I don't know. I've never been around them.
It depends on the size, man. Honestly, dogs, the Yag Terriers, their kryptonite is a larger dog. It's hard to be a tough guy when all 4 of your legs are off the ground getting shook, you know? So if it's a standard size Yag, one-on-one, most coyotes are, if they're hungry, they're gonna whoop it. You know, like I've seen some of the toughest Yags in the world get chewed to absolute pieces and some briars and everything like that. Now, if the coyote just wants to run, he can run. You can, you know, we've seen those rough bears that, you know, could be very lethal, you know, and then we've seen the videos of like a house cat treeing one sometimes. And it's kind of the same thing, you know, the coyote wants them, a coyote's going to whoop a Yag unless you get some of the ones that are bigger out of standard. And then I have one with like a guy named Sean O'Neill right now. And his is exactly that. It's a flips a switch. So he'll run them and bay them and everything like that. And then if he goes to, when the terrier gets there, it sometimes will pounce on it, you know, and jump right on it. And then everything else jumps on it too. Kind of like hog dogs, you know, you just need one to flip the switch and everybody else piles on, you know, so they can, you know, and even if there's a bunch of dogs there, the little guy would probably do all right as long as he doesn't stick his head in the wrong spot, you know, but
yeah, that's just what I was curious about. I thought, you know, the size would be the determining factor there. So I didn't know what the standard was, you know, if you could get a larger dog for a specific purpose.
Yeah,
that's what stag hounds were made for, Bryce.
You know, I heard a couple guys tried to use the stag hounds up here, and the issue with them was they ran into the fences all the time. Like the fences were their Achilles heel. I don't know. I wasn't around, but that's just, you know, talking to them out there running them this last winter. They said that stag hounds just didn't work up here due to too many fences.
Yeah,
barbed wire or a field fence?
A mixture of both. A lot of our field fence has barbed wire on the top of it.
Yeah, it all depends on who's hunting them and how, in my opinion, my humble opinion, it all depends on who's hunting them and how much work they put into them. Because mine will fence like crazy. Possum will stand flat-footed and jump a 5-foot field fence, you know? Now, you might not want your dogs to do that, and I get that. If they were trained not to thread barbed wire rather than, you know, you don't want them jumping over. I tried to teach Possum not to jump over. I'd rather him thread through barbed wire, but he prefers to jump it, So if they mess with it a bunch, they could do it. But it's all your flavor. There's a million ways.
I'm gonna pat you on the back, Chad. Go ahead, Bryce.
No, I was just gonna say, I wonder if we could find any videos of that on GoWild. I wonder if anybody's posted anything like that. Pull it up and maybe ask a recommendation.
Need to get my stag people online. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna pat Chad on the back. I went hunting with his dog Possum, and it's rare to see a sight hound with that much brain. I will say that. Mine, they'd probably be dead if I ran them in Chad's country. But I saw more hares in 45 minutes of just kind of walking through some of these areas. And I was like, wow. And this dog would pick the hares that were the smart ones to chase. Mine would just be like, chase that one, dead. Yeah, chase, dead. So I was really impressed. And Chad was just being all like, oh no, he's being a pot licker today. And I was like, dude, he's like picking his shots and being smart about it. That was way more impressive than the running ability any day long. I was like, dude, this dog has seen hundreds of hares in his life. And he's like, okay, this one, nah. This one, yes. Like, that's smart. Yeah, I like that.
The crusty snow was getting him to where he was running on top, and every sixth step he'd fall down like to his elbow, and going fast doing that, it can take it out of him. So he was getting choosy rather than hurting himself, like you say. So I'm sure I'll let him know. I'll let him know. I'm sure he'll appreciate it.
You pat him on the head and tell him he's a good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I posted on GoWild some hare trophies, and they was saying distance, and it wouldn't let me put the distance of the race in because I put Meth at his dogs, and I was like, distance? Okay, So the race was like almost 2 miles, but you can't put that in as distance because they think it's firearm range. So I just had to put don't know.
Yeah, I have to do that with all my coon trophies. It's like ask a distance. I'm like, well, I'm not really sure how high up in the tree that raccoon really was. So I put don't know. Get with
Braden and Jacob and Brad and have them change that, because I'm with you on some of that. It should be race distance, not how far you shot it. For us, for houndsmen, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. We'll hit them up with that.
They're really responsive with that. Oh yeah.
If you talk to him, get a falconry option. I've been wanting to put my falconry stuff in there, and there's no bird, So I'm saying hounds. It's like a jackrabbit, and I got a falcon next to it, and it's like means of take hounds.
Falcon hound. We'll pitch. That's all we can do. We can pitch it to them. I mean, them guys are pretty open. I'm sure they'll be glad to switch it up.
It's really fun though. I'm just kind of getting into it, and it's you got to learn a new forum, and the buttons are different, and how you post stuff's different. But if you just do it, get into it and get started with it, it's pretty cool. I like it. It's definitely different from some of the other network platforms, but I'm liking it. I'm starting to like it a lot.
I'm calling Bryce out. I'm calling you out, Bryce.
There's
no way you listen to all these podcasts because all you put's great episode. I need to know content. I need to know what it was about.
Here's the deal, Heath. So in my day-to-day job, I spend 8 to 10 hours a day in my truck on the road driving. I put like 370 something miles on my truck today. So I've got a lot of free time to kill.
And you got a new truck too, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a new truck in January. It had 15,000 miles on it. And as of today, it rolled over 39,000.
And it's a Dodge?
It is. It's a Ram 1500. First time I've ever got away from the Chevy.
I'm sorry.
But I couldn't accept the deal. But here's the deal with the podcast is, I'm not going to call myself out like Chad did and expose myself. But in certain circumstances, you don't have a lot of time to type something up. So you can't leave it blank and say you listen to it. So great episode. It auto-populates. I listen to it and I get my points that way.
Yeah.
Which I'll have I just cashed in about a week ago and saved 30% on an all-American pressure canner for Nikki to start canning some vegetables.
Yeah, so you can give her something to do. Poor girl. I seen you play on the garden.
That was me. You plowing the garden yesterday and today.
Your definition of big really worries me.
That's what she said.
It was the size of my kitchen table. And I'm like, Bryce, that ain't big. What are you doing? What are you going to put 2 tomato plants and a pepper in there? Like what?
That must have been an optical illusion via Snapchat. You really couldn't get the whole scope of the range, size range.
It was a vast panorama.
Yes, exactly. It was much larger than I cared to push a tiller behind for 2 days.
Tomatoes as far as the eye could see.
Yeah, he had 3 plants.
He had to go swab the gerbils out of that Dodge he had. You know, those gerbils every 200 miles, you got to swap the gerbils out.
That's right.
Yeah, but thanks to GoWild, like I said, did save 30% on a new canner. So I got her a canner. I'm going this weekend to buy her a new gas stove, and I've got her garden ready for her to plant. So we are eating good this summer, boys. I'm just saying.
Well,
nice.
I will say with the GoWild, and I feel sorry for Nikki. I'm so sorry that Bryce is making you do all this. But every time I catch a fish or every time I'm able to catch something, see something. I mean, I put my dog train. Chad, do you put your dog training on there?
On what? On the GoWild? I'm just getting started. I'm just, like I said, I'm just getting started to it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I haven't put any videos on there yet. Just pictures so far, some trophies.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm like, every time I do something, I'm like, yes, I'm going to get some points. Yes, I'm going to get some points. So like, I mean, everything I do goes on there. Like everything I do.
I'm the same way. So since I know you're watching my Snapchats because you saw how big of a garden I was tilling up.
Just small.
I'm sure you saw last night the coon that we treed. And if you listen real carefully, you can actually hear me in the background. I didn't think it would pick me up, but I was telling a guy that I was hunting with, I said, look, I'm recording this. I got to get my points on GoWild, because he kept asking me why I kept pulling my phone out every tree. So.
Hey, do you get points for slicks?
No points for slick trees. We do not post those. We will be honest if asked about, but that is not information we just divulge.
I was going to comment on one of them. I was like, I'm not going to do that to my buddy.
Hey, I'll be honest as they come. I'm just not going to give it out if I'm not asking.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That would be like, asking why you didn't catch that. Yeah, that'd be like asking why you didn't catch that fish the other day. Like, you caught 2, but you said you caught 2, but you let 1 get away. Why were we not 3 for 3?
And he didn't get the hooks in him. He did not hook up. Like, he come up and he jammed my bait, and then I seen him come up, and I'm like, crap. So he didn't hook up. And then that was Monday. I seen 6 fish. I caught 2, missed 1, and had 3 more follows. Let me tell you a story. Let me just tell you this story, because it was such a great day, and at the same time, it was a complete and utter disaster. So, caught my first fish in 30 minutes. I was there, like, stoked. It had a tag in it. So, the DWR in Virginia, they tag muskies, and if you pull the tag and send it in, they pay you $20. So, anyway, I got the fish up. When I was pulling it out of the net, I was like, I seen the tag. I'm like, okay, I got a tag. I pulled it up, got a picture of it, put it back. I was so excited. I put it back down in the water, and I had him by the tail, and I realized, I'm like, crap, I didn't get the tag. Well, about the time I reached to pull it, he gone, darted off. So it is what it is. And then I went and missed that one. And I went up river a couple miles, moved 1, and I fished that area, and I went back to see if I could hook up on him, and ended up catching the second fish. All right. So she's 46 inches. She's a nice fish. I get her in the net. Now I'm by myself now. And if you try to hold a pole, get a net, get a muskie in a net, and do all that, it's pretty hard. So I was fishing in some shallower water. So I had pulled my trolling motor up and left it where it wasn't running real deep. So when I ran to the back of the boat to net her and got her in the net, my boat raises up in the front, and all you can hear is the thulping of the trolling motor. So I hook my net on the back of my boat. I run back to the front of my boat, let my trolling motor back down because I'd screwed it where it was setting higher. So I unscrewed it, let it down. I'm tightening it up, and I turn around and look, and my net is floating down the river. Floating down the river with the fish in it. So I hit my spot lock, let off it. I swing the boat around, go down the river. I don't know how it did not sink. I was able to grab the net, get it back up in the boat. By then, I'm like, I'm an utter mess. Like, I am shaking, I'm cussing, I'm screaming. Like, I'm telling you. So I get the fish out, take a picture, put it back in, and I literally had to sit down on the boat for 10 minutes to regain my composure. Like,
now, how did you take a picture with a 46-inch muskie by yourself?
So, secret of the trade. Here you go. So I have a holder that goes on my boat, and so my phone sits in it. So what I do is I just hit record, turn the phone towards me, and when I pick it up out of the water, and then right back in the water. So literally the fish is not out of the water for more than 15 seconds. And then I just screenshot it, and it's a picture.
So you have a glorified selfie stick on your John boat, is what you're telling me.
Well, it's my phone. It's my phone. So yeah, I just take a video of it. So yeah. Well, so now it gets even better. So I fish down the river. I go back to where I missed the fish that morning, and I'm fishing that area. And I'd started upriver maybe 150 yards, and I'd fish down, and I get to that area, and boom, here he comes. But he's running low under my bait, so he's not. I know that he's not ready to pounce on it. So I come in, I do my 8, and I see him just he goes over in some ledges and lays there. So I float down river. I turn my boat around and go back up river. And the very next cast, I go to whip my rod. And when I whip my rod, there goes my bait. Across the river.
Now that's not cheap. Those are expensive, aren't they?
Yes. So
can you tell me those are like $60 a lure or something like that?
Some of them are that cheap. Yes. Yes. So I hit my trolling motor. I'm jetting across the river. The wind's blowing, so it's got a little bit of ripple to the area that I was in. Search for it for an hour. Cannot find it. I'm like, crap, it's just time to go home. Like, I've done dropped my net. I've lost a lure. I just need to call it a day. So the next morning, me and my buddy go back, and we fish that same area, and he catches a small fish pretty much right off the bat. And we go upriver, and I catch another one. He had to be back at the boat ramp by 11. So I took him back to the boat ramp by 11. And I'm like, I'm going to go back and look for that lure. It's 12 o'clock. I've got my glasses on. I can see in the water really good. So I go back up and I start doing a grid pattern, searching for that bait. And I searched about 30 minutes, and I said, I'm going to make one more pass. So I go back up the river, and I started searching to the right a little bit more this time. And sure enough, bam, there it is. So I'm trying to get my boat switched around. I lost it again. Long story short, an hour and 15 minutes into that excursion, I got my bait out of the water. Like, yes. Yay, it was a win-win. So I was like, I'm going home. I'm going home.
Now, does that one fish count as 2 catches because you actually caught it and then lost it in the net and then caught the net again? You know, is that?
Well, it should. Ooh. I should post it twice. That's
double
for sure.
Points.
Yes. I mean, and something real quick, and I know we were talking about dogs, but when you get a muskie that's over 45 inches, you're getting into a 15 to 20-year-old fish.
Oh, that's cool.
Like people don't realize that, but it's an older fish. Yeah, you need to come down this summer, Bryce, and we need to hit it for a couple days.
Well, I know we've talked about it for 4 years now, how I need to come down and go fishing and not just come bear hunting, and I just haven't done it yet.
Yep. Well, while she's planting them maters, them 3 plants, get on down here.
Yeah, I'll sneak away for a weekend.
Yeah.
Have any of you guys ever been fly fishing?
Nope.
Yes.
I can't get
Where?
the bear to go after the fly, so
Where'd you go, Heath?
I'm right here.
You're fly fishing in your living room?
Oh no. We fly, like, we have a lot of trout streams, like from my house. I mean, let me see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 8 trout streams within 30-minute drive of my house.
Wow.
So
Let me ask you, do you know what the San Juan Shuffle is?
no. Is
It's
it a sandwich?
It's it's a famous trout river here in New Mexico, and I guess apparently they like pioneered a thing where you like shuffle up the bottom with your feet, and it like stirs up all the benthic macropods on the surface or on the and then it causes the trout to swarm around your feet in a feeding frenzy, and you can like catch them. Apparently it's illegal now, but I've caught less than 10 fish in my entire life, and 6 of them were in Canada last year. But I did go fly fishing once. Believe it or not, I got my degree in fish biology, and I worked on a fish crew for a long time. And I went fly fishing with this one guy who was a total fly fishing addict. And we were in a totally naive stream, and the fish had never been really fly fished at all. So a child could have caught him, which was good because I didn't know what I was doing. I threw my fly in the water, and then he was like, all right, now like whip it back and forth. So I start whipping it back and forth. Little do I know, I actually caught a fish that was like 3 inches long, and I was just like whipping him along in the air. And then he like sat on the water and just like splat, and then like swam down the water. It's like, oh, I caught one. I like reeled him in. So the first fish I ever caught on the fly, I didn't know he was there, and I whipped him around a little bit, but he was all right. He was a brown trout. They're tough.
Yeah.
Seth, you said you've caught less than 10 fish in your life. Is that fly fishing or 10 total fish in the existence of Seth Hall?
10 total fish in the existence of Seth Hall. Yep.
He lives in a desert, Bryce.
I know.
In the
It's hard for me to
desert.
fathom.
Yeah, so we have a huge lake, but I caught one catfish in it one time that I can remember. Yeah, bait fishing, and it was more just drinking than fishing, which is most fishing around here. But then I caught a bunch of fish. I actually caught like a 30-inch lake trout in Canada. That was really rad. I have a picture of him. And then
Was it a
bunch of
rainbow?
rainbows. What's up?
Rainbow
Yeah, I caught a rainbow, and then no, the lake trout is like, that's what they're called, like a lake trout.
lake trout. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a big trout, but they're good.
That's
too.
just so
Holy
hard for me to fathom, because like literally right outside that window right there, my computer won't pick it up, but that's the Wabash River. I mean, I literally live on a river in my front yard, so it's just
There's a
crazy
couple
to think
extinct
about.
rivers I live next to. So
Unless it's rain season.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's it. And then the Rio Grande, but it's just an irrigation ditch. The fishing is horrible, so I don't go down there. Nah, but northern New Mexico has amazing fly fishing. Like, it's literally world class. I believe there's a movie called A River Runs Through It, and it was filmed there. Like, yeah. So
Yeah, didn't he come out of the Grand Canyon?
well, yeah, that's a little north of us, obviously in Arizona. But there were some other places I thought were filmed somewhere like near the San Juan or something. But anyway, yeah, the fly fishing up there is just incredible. It's a super diverse state. But man, we're a hunting destination in my world. Like, southern New Mexico is a total hunting destination. You can be hunting oryx in the desert, drive 25 minutes, and be hunting elk at 7,000 feet altitude. So it's pretty rad for hunting, but I'm not a fisherman at all. I need to go fishing for real. When I was in East Texas, a friend of ours, shout out to Yimmy, he invited me to go sea trout fishing off Texas. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So Seth, like, if you're not around fishing, do you, like, I have a dream hunt that I want to go on. Do you have a dream fishing trip that you want to go on?
Dude, yes, I do. I love smoked salmon. So I would love to go out and either snag salmon or catch salmon on a rod and reel by the milliton, megaton, and just devour smoked salmon with my wife until I'm as fat as one of those bears that goes into hibernation. You know what I mean? That would be.
So where would you do that? Where would you snag a milliton of salmon?
Well, when we were in Canada, they said that the salmon run through the Babine Lake, and those guys are pretty cool, Lloyd and all them. So probably there, but also maybe somewhere in Alaska. I've always wanted to go to Alaska. I really enjoyed the 20-hour day. That was super rad to just experience that. And if you go farther north, it's permanent sunlight in the summertime, which would be really trippy to experience. I'd like to see that. So, yeah, probably some kind of salmon fishing, or this is gonna sound weird, but like somewhere deep in the Amazon where we're like wearing loincloths and we're like running through the jungle barefoot and spearing fish. That would be badass.
All right, Jeremy Wade. You watched that River Monsters?
I have, yeah. I'm less pretentious though.
Yeah.
I just want to run around the Amazon in a loincloth. So
mosquitoes will eat you alive in your loincloth.
I forget about mosquitoes because I live in a place that doesn't have them. So I always forget that mosquitoes are a thing. And then I go other places and I'm a sad panda. But yeah, anyway, what about you guys? Where's your dream fishing trip? We're on fishing. We're going for it. We'll start with game catcher. Where's your dream fishing trip, bro?
I want to go to Alaska. I want to go to the Kenai River. My brother went last year. Him and a group of friends went out and they just went everywhere. It was like a 5-day and they went, they fished the ocean. They fished the river. They got salmon. They had trout. They had everything, flounder, cod or whatever. So that's what I want to do. But when I was in Yellowstone last year, I fished the Firehole River for trout. And I would like to, I would love to go back and do a 3-day fishing trip again in Yellowstone and then maybe do a float trip somewhere in Wyoming. I saw some people doing that. That would be good for me too. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'll fish anywhere, but Alaska and that area would be cool.
What about you, Bryce?
Man, I don't know. I was quiet because I've never thought about that. I am not an avid fisherman. The summertime, I do like to catfish. I have now, but I like to catfish. I enjoy running them on bank poles. I don't know. So we just take the boat out and we got poles we stick into the bank, put a live bluegill on it, and put it right just under the surface of the water, and it starts splashing around. And the flatheads will come up for easy prey and catch them that way. So you run down, set all your poles, and then you just float down the river, have a good time, talk to your buddies, and then you run back and you check them. I don't have the patience to sit still, which is why I'm not good at fishing. And it's why I run dogs instead of other types of hunting, because I've got to be moving. So running bank poles on the river, you're constantly moving. You're never sitting still. That's what I like to do, but I don't know. I've never thought about where my ideal destination fishing trip would be.
Well, didn't you just post something about going to Florida and fishing?
No. That was the works of my wonderful girlfriend who told me yesterday when she got home from work, we're going on vacation and going fishing. So
you're going on the ocean fishing.
Hey, you know what? I've just come to accept it.
Yep. Happy wife, happy life. We know. Do it, Bryce. You're making her plant a garden.
I'm not making her plant a garden. This is her dreams and aspirations. There's a few things around here that are hers. Wait. Chickens and gardens. Those are her deals, not mine. I just help her.
With the size of that garden, you could have built a 4x4 garden box and been just as well off. In fact, you if you did 2 of them, she'd be getting double her money's worth.
When I garden, all I do is spend all my time and money to just fence out all the animals trying to eat my garden because it's the only green thing for 500 miles. And so it's just always never fun. Plus, I live in dune sand. So, Bryce, I don't care how big your garden is. I'm envious, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably 20 foot wide by, I'm going to say 50 foot long. If I had to guess. Now, I haven't got a tape measure out and made that specific, but it is a substantial size garden.
Take your Onyx app and map it.
Oh, draw like a perimeter boundary around it.
There you go.
Right. That's right. And it'll tell you that it's 4x4. It'll fit 3 tomato plants and a pepper plant.
I wouldn't worry about it too much, man. I've somebody's told me before, it's not the size of your garden, it's how you use it, Bryce. So you tell him to hush, man.
That's right. That's right. Hey, she gets pleasure out of my garden, so I'm gonna let it go.
That's all that matters.
Personally, I just planted 160 acres of crop, but I'm not gonna, the size doesn't matter. It's all right,
Don't worry, it's infested with gaping prairie dog holes anyway, Chad.
He's not lying. They're winning. They enjoy more of it than I do. That's for sure.
That's what I imagine your dream fishing trip is, Chad. Just sitting over a prairie dog with a rod and reel, prairie dog hole.
That would be good. But I actually thought about this one. I would, and I picked on Tyler's dogs earlier, but he's got some cool terriers, man. I'd take him or maybe Troy Laramore's Yags, but some Yag terriers, a pack of Yags, 2 or 3 of them, and go up to one of them. I don't know much about river fish. I'll be honest. I grew up in South Florida, so my dad was big into fishing, so I've caught, kingfish and mahi, dolphin, stuff like that. But I kind of got spoiled at that on a young age. That was something he did, and I like the dogs a little bit more, But your river fish, I don't know much about. But I've seen this, and I don't even know if this is the legal means to take. So forgive me. This is my fishing fantasy here. But I would like to go to one of them where they're at the end of their spawn or whatever, where they're kind of in those like big puddles where they really can't get away, and just turn loose a pack of little Yag terriers until they ran one of them rascals down and caught them in like chest deep water. I think that'd be freaking hilarious. I'd be in tears. I can imagine. I'd be laughing so hard.
I know we can make this happen. I'm not even exaggerating with carp.
Is that real?
100%. I'm dead serious. We could do this with carp.
Fantastic.
You can come up here and go to Indiana. We can do the carp thing too, man. I mean, there's just pools of when the river floods, they get stranded out in the middle of the field, and it's just it's a free for all. Like that's where we take people to learn how to bow shoot because they can't go anywhere.
Bryce.
It is a legal method of take. It is legal.
What, with the bow or with the dog?
Well, with the bow, but I'm saying having the fish trapped in their little area. So I don't know. I've never tried the dog.
Bryce, do you know where Bath, Indiana is?
I don't, but I can find out really quick.
There's the Great American Carp Roundup there, where all the carp are like jumping out of the water. Or is it Bath, Illinois? Oh, it's Illinois, not Indiana. It's Illinois. My bad. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, Bath, Illinois is where the carp jump out of the water, and they have this like great redneck carp roundup where everyone's like, the only rules are you can't use rod and reels, and you have to wear a crazy costume. So we should Houndsman XP. We should go to that. That would be our dream fit. That's my dream fishing trip right there. I'm revising.
You don't even have to go to Bath. I've got a video. I'll try and dig it up here after this. You just come right up here with us. We've got the Asian carp that are so crazy. In some parts of the river, we literally take the seat cushions of the boat that you are also flotation devices and put them like a shield. That way, whenever the flying carp or the carp jump in the boat, you can knock them off and not get knocked in the head. Because I've got a video and I'm at the front of the boat and I'm recording towards the back of the boat where my buddy's driving and his dad's got his shield and there's just Asian carp just jumping by the hundreds everywhere. It's
I want
intense.
To experience it. Yep.
You don't. They are slimy. They're disgusting. They absolutely destroy your boat and you can't get the smell off of you no matter how much you take a bath afterwards. It's terrible.
Bryce, are we going to eat one?
I'm not into the Asian carp, but the buffalo carp, they say the ribs on them are really good. There's actually a market for it around here now. They're buffalo ribs.
Oh, buffalo ribs. That's pretty good because Houndsman XP, look, Chad is one of the most adventurous, outgoing eaters I've ever met. He'll eat anything. And so he's all, what?
He's lying, I promise. Negative.
I know he is because he eats boar hogs. So he's clearly an adventurous eater.
Oh, he did say that on a podcast. That is true. Hey, I've got a picture here. What about catfish noodling? I think somebody mentioned that earlier. We talked about it, but Chad in prairie dog holes, going down there, sticking his arm, trying to grab the prairie dogs in the middle of the field.
We got a story about that. We shoot a lot of them because they are nuisance animals out by me. Check your states, make sure it's legal. But out here, we can wear them out. We get hundreds and hundreds every year, and we always try and count to see who gets the most. And one of my buddies, Yubi, would always fish down there, run up there, dive, and throw his hand down there, trying to make sure it doesn't get away, so he can keep his numbers up. And one split him open. Man, them little rascals have teeth. Let me tell you, they can bite. And we've all joked about him turning into like a were prairie dog or something down afterwards. But something else to think about is them rascals carry the plague, like
thinning them out is probably not a bad thing at all. That's one of their biggest population controls is when their towns get into a critical density, bubonic plague sweeps through their community and destroys them all. So that's not something you want to have around.
Literal bubonic plague, Black Death, bubonic plague, no joke. That's what they get. And it's transferable to humans.
Definitely is transferable to humans. So, yeah.
We stick to not those.
Noodling the plague. That would also be an episode title.
Well, what I've always wondered is I don't know if you guys have seen them. They actually have these vacuum trucks, these massive vacuum trucks, the size of a cement mixer or something,
I've seen them.
They'll put a giant vacuum hose on the holes to suck them out, and it's hilarious. You'll hear it. It'll turn on and all of a sudden little prairie dogs go flying down the hose, and they'll catch a lot of them, a lot.
It's very effective. Yeah.
What I've always wondered is, can you after you get them all out, go somewhere else? Can you flip it on reverse? Can you
shoot them out?
Can you fire these little rascals back out of the hose when you're done, or
yes,
you just have to,
it's at your local trap club.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like skeet shooting. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I've seen those vacuum trucks. I've never seen them in action, but I've seen them afterwards. And the back of the tank that has where all the human waste would be is converted. And that's where the prairie dogs are. They're in it. And they chill out in there because they just think it's a big burrow. So you can just have them in there and then they just take them to a new spot and open the back and just dump them out basically. And then they just run off. So
that's not half as cool as shooting them back out, man.
No, not at all. They're little prairie dog missiles, little darts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when they dump fish into remote mountain lakes and streams, they literally just airdrop them. They just fly over the mountain, open the tank, and they just pour out into the mountain. The fish just fall. But the prairie dogs, if you were going to ask Bryce why they relocate them, is because, believe it or not, in some places, they're trying to reestablish them to be an ecosystem engineer, basically, because they do perform pretty vital service to the ecosystem in a lot of environments. So in parts of New Mexico where they were extirpated from climate change, poor grazing practices and overhunting, they're trying to reestablish their populations in certain areas to kind of maintain the grassland, and they help push back shrub invasion. So they can be pretty helpful. And not on Chad's place, they're not, but some places around us, they definitely are. He's like,
nope.
So yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. And dream fishing, yes, I'm gonna completely take back. I was trying to be, what would be a dream fishing experience for me and my wife? But in reality, I take that back entirely. The carp fishing with a jumping carp, I want to hit them with a samurai sword. And then also, how could I forget noodling? I really want to go noodling. And I'm still going to say the Amazon thing. That's true. But I want to go noodling too. So if we got any Oklahoma listeners out there, I want to go Okie noodling, the real deal. And yeah, I want to give that a shot. That'd be awesome. So,
yeah, I'm not sticking my hand in any hole in the river. I was not doing it.
Yeah, I think it's a little crazy, but it does sound like my cup of tea. So I'm about it. And we'll watch Chad stick his arm down a prairie dog hole.
No, not me. I've seen what happens. Nope.
Nope. You weren't the guinea pig, were you?
No, I had to stitch his finger back together. It was that little prairie dog opened him up. His whole index finger was wide open down to the first knuckle.
Mm-mm.
Chad goes noodling for badgers. That's what he goes noodling for.
Yeah, I got a scar from the first knuckle all the way to the second knuckle from that. Haggis was trying to pull one, and I was trying to help him out, and it got a hold of me.
Well, you guys, I think we're closing in on an hour, so I got no final thoughts. I covered everything I wanted to and more. My face is hurting from laughing so much. My internet cut out, but the last thing I heard was Chad making fun of his Dodge having all the gerbils in the engine, and that was a good thing for me, my internet to cut out on. But we'll work our way. We'll work our way clockwise. Game catcher, you got any final thoughts, brother?
No. I'm going to, let's see what this, I'm off this week. So my plans are to canine train Monday. I'm going to go to North Carolina and chase some bears Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, I'm going to be back on the river chasing the muskie. Hopefully I can at least, I'd like to boat another one, honestly, but I won't get my hopes up. And that's about what my next couple of days look like, doing a little outdoors adventure.
It's the only way to live life.
That's everybody tells me that I'm obsessed, and I'm like, no, it's just a way of life.
Absolutely.
Like if I can't be outside, then I don't know what I'm doing.
You're passionate, Heath. Tell them to hush.
That's what I tell them all the time. They're like, I never seen somebody spend so much time in the woods as you. I don't, I'm in the summertime. I'm on the river, and Bryce made a comment there that kind of resonates with me when I was younger. There was a time in my life that if it didn't have a dog involved in it, I did not do it. Like my whole world revolved around a dog. And I think where I have learned, like the canine, the law enforcement training that I've had and the stuff like that, I've learned to maintain my dogs. And of course, now I don't have season here. I mean, I got August, September, and December to hunt. That's it. So I do a little, like I said, I'm going down to North Carolina next week. Spend a couple of days down there, just kind of knock the rust off the dogs, get them out, get them some exercise. Hopefully I can make another trip before the end of May, and then in July I'll try to make a trip up north, and then ours comes in August. But I've learned to balance my dogs, and I keep them busy enough, like around the house. Like, yeah, I'm not putting them on game because I can't. But I keep them busy enough doing the mundane work, Chad, that a lot of people don't want to do, the loading and the leading and the recalling and, just hands-on, just building that relationship with them, like just putting hands on them, spending time with them. And I've said it in my podcast numerous times, like 15, 20 minutes a day goes a long way.
And that's a lot, right?
Well, so somebody posted this, and it may have been one of you guys, but they said if you spend 18 minutes a day doing something, 18 minutes a day doing something every day, that you will be better than 95% of the people at what you're doing. Am I making sense when I'm saying that?
Oh, yeah, it makes sense, buddy.
That's good.
Yeah. So yeah, it says if I spend 18 minutes a day fooling with my dogs and I do it every day, I will be better than 90 to 95% of the people. So I try to balance my stuff out. I spend time with my dogs. I'm not out hunting them because I can't, but I'm doing the stuff that the maintenance work we should be doing in the off season. So that's a wrap for me, Seth.
Buddy, to jump in on what you were saying there, Heath, I think I came across the wrong way. That's not a lot. I mean, that doesn't take up a lot. I mean, 5 minutes to 15 minutes or 18 minutes. I mean, that's very manageable, and just like you're saying, I can't agree with you more. Grand Canyon wasn't a whole lot of water in a little bit of time. It was a little bit of water over a long amount of time, and it dug the Grand Canyon, and if you just spend 5 to, like you say, 15 minutes with your dogs a day, or at least every other day, man, you could teach them all kinds of stuff. Everybody thinks you got to do like an hour's worth of obedience or something like that. You don't want to do it. The dog doesn't want. Nobody wants to do that, But just like you're saying, just take them out a little bit,
Yeah.
So I can't agree with you more. I didn't want to steal your thunder there, but you started saying it. I was jumping up and down over here, So I just
literally,
yeah.
It works wonders, don't it, Chad?
It does, but it does. So I say that all the time, and to hear you say it, yes, this man's got it. Go on. So I'm with you. I'll calm down now. Go ahead. Let somebody else talk.
Bryce, what you got, brother? What you got?
Closing in on 9 o'clock here, which means it's getting dark. So that means I'm getting ready to go hit the timber.
There you go,
got
brother.
Got the Indiana State Youth Hunt going on this weekend. So my boy's going to be hunting in that. It's a school night, so I don't know if he's going to go with me tonight or not. But I'm going out there anyways and keep his dog tuned up and try and give him the best chance we can to win this Indiana State Youth Hunt Saturday.
Nice.
That's about all we got going on over here. So gardens, chickens, and coon dogs. That's what's happening in Indiana.
It's a good life.
Cows.
Sounds
Don't
like a good life.
Cows. The Longhorns. Yeah, those are cool.
Close this out,
CCG.
Chad. CCG. There you go.
Me, I'm just spring bears finally start, getting going out here, and I'm going to try and chase them around a little bit. They should be getting out of their dens. And then getting the rest of the seed in the ground. So chasing bears and putting seeds in the dirt. That's about it for me.
How many seeds are you planting? Like a 6x6, a 10x10?
He said 160. He's on the back 40, Bryce.
Yeah. I'll round it off to an even 200 before I'm done. But right now, I couldn't count the seeds. I don't know, bud.
A couple million.
I think I got 2.5 tons to go still, so somewhere right around there.
One seed, 2 seeds.
Yep.
Economical. Well, yeah, I just wanted to make a quick shout out. Thank you to our patrons. You guys rock. We've been getting awesome engagement there. We just put out a poll, and we're going to put out another one. So thank you guys for your voice. And if you're not a patron, go check us out. You guys, there's all kinds of sweet bonus content, and there's going to be even more coming down the pipeline. So that's all I got, fellas. My life is the same old, wrapping up hair coursing season. It's getting hot here. It's almost 90. So we're going to keep it simple. But you guys, if that's everything, you follow your hounds and I'll follow mine. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
Later, boys.
See ya.